In an attempt to deceive her own husband, she didn't think twice before plotting a coup against him, even though she has a husband at home that every woman would like to have, even though he is to her much more than a husband, but a partner. She didn't take anything into consideration, she only thought of herself. In the kitchen of her house, while she was having her tea, she started to complain to her secretary, saying that she should clean the floor better, because it always leaves a mess. At that very moment her husband comes home all happy, because at last he had managed to settle the matter of his grandfather's inheritance, and that he would be entitled to it too. And his wife was very happy, because she had just learned that her husband would receive a good amount of money. Together they celebrated this great news, but he could hardly imagine what was going through his wife's mind, and the plans she was already making with this money, thinking of spending it herself. So he goes out to tell his friends the news, and she is left alone to plot against him. A while later, she goes to her secretary to see if she has already made the coffee, and then, finding 2 glasses of juice already prepared for her and her husband, she removes from her blouse something that could poison her own husband. In this instant, she thinks only of the inheritance that would be left for her and leaves as if she had done nothing. Soon after, her secretary, who didn't know what was happening, leaves the dishes in the sink to serve the juice to her bosses, but something very serious happens. She innocently switches the glasses around, not knowing that one of them was poison. And, while her bosses are talking in the living room, she arrives to serve them, and at that moment, while they are drinking the juice, the wife, very curious, asks how much inheritance her husband would receive. Then, she watches him drinking the juice, hardly knowing what was about to happen. She then, upon hearing from her husband about the large amount she would receive, gets even more excited, already imagining everything she would do with that money. But unexpectedly, she begins to feel very ill. Her body begins to react to the poison she had taken instead of her husband, and, meanwhile, he is at a loss to understand anything that was happening to her. She leaves, desperate, coughing down the hallway of the house, and her husband, distressed, trying to help her, but not knowing what to do. Then he cried out for help from the secretary, and when she arrived, he realized that there was something inside his wife's blouse, and when he picked it up to see what it was, he realized that his wife had taken poison, and became even more desperate without understanding why she had taken it. Little did the husband know that his wife was plotting his death, and that's the way it is in the world. Be very careful in whom you trust, because even inside your own home you can be betrayed.